Hey Jeremy,
Hello,
nice to see you.
thank you.
So I'll just introduce you to our viewers. This is Jeremy Britton, and we're going to have a chat today about quite a lot of things hopefully, and hear some stories from you. But specifically I wanted to talk to you about your background in financial planning and being very involved in finances in a lot of ways, but specifically how you started out. So I've heard some of your stories already, but I'd love to know just how you even got into this industry.
Okay, cool. Not many people actually ask me that story, so thank you for that. I'll tell you the story. Where I grew up was from a very poor background. Mum and dad, one income, 6 kids, so do the maths. And my dad, his father was away fighting in 2 wars, and so he was never around, and he was basically raised by his mum. And my mum was one of 9 with one income. So come from this generations of people who've always struggled.
Yeah.
And I decided, I actually remember saying to my girlfriend at the time when I was 16, my ambition in life is to become really, really rich. And she just said, what for? I said, because I don't want to be a burden on my family. And I'd seen my own grandparents when they got old and they had nothing and the family had to support them.
Yeah.
I did not want to be a burden on my family because I love my family, and I didn't want to be a burden on them, so I said, that's what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
And someone said to me back when I was about 18 or 19, because you can sell microwaves, you can sell washing machines, you can sell cars, houses, whatever, but sooner or later people will get to a critical mass.
Yeah.
Once I've got 3 cars, 2 washing machines and 14 houses, I'm full, I'm not going to buy from you anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
But what this gentleman said to me, deal directly in money. If you want to make money, deal directly in money, because people will never have enough money. You talk to a person who's got $1 million, he wants to have 2 million. You talk to a person who's got 10 million, he wants to become a billionaire. So that's when I decided to start working with money. I actually pulled out of university and went and started working as a financial planner when I was like 19, 20 years old, because I wanted to work with money, because that was the best and fastest way to make money, is to deal directly with money.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
wow, so it really did have a big impact on you, obviously, the way you grew up, and then just having that ambition and sticking with it. And at that age, it seems like a very young age to become so clear, but it certainly paid off in some ways, didn't it? What I was particularly interested in your story is how you'd seen things like The Secret and you'd heard about mindset, and for you it was pointless worrying about mindset because you could use strategy, and you were using strategy and getting results. And so when we chatted about this off camera, it was really interesting to me because a lot of people feel that way. It's like, yeah, mindset, whatever, look at these people, they get results without it. So I'd really love it if you'd share with us some of the stories and experiences you had in being really successful without worrying about the mindset, but then where that ended up for you in life and your clients.
well, I'm just having a smile because it depends how you measure the success. I mean, after another failed business, I think I was working part-time, I was making about $13,000 a year. And then I just applied myself and I learned some more things and learned some more strategies. And for me, it was very much a left brain thing, and it's probably the education thing that was very big in my family. I learned something else, and then I can actually go to the next level. And so in one year I went from 13,000 to 30,000, the next year I went from 30,000 to 50,000. And I had my own financial planning business, and the more skills I got, the more money I could make. And my income just kept doubling and doubling, which was great from the outset, and that's how I measured my success, how much money I made for myself, how much money I made for my clients. And I made a lot of my clients into millionaires very, very quickly by studying different things and going into direct property, which most financial planners weren't doing. And then some things started to happen. And like, okay, one of my clients rings up and says, I need to cash in the investment. I go, oh, what's wrong? I've just been diagnosed with cancer, I've got 12 months to live. I'm like, bugger. And another client rings up and says, I need to cash in my money, what's happening? Oh, I'm getting divorced, the missus has left me. And then she rings me up and says, I don't want to deal with you either because you used to deal with him, it'll remind me of him when you come in. So I'm losing clients, I'm losing money. And over a period of a couple of months, I had 13 of my clients who basically blew their money. And one guy actually, he took his $1 million and invested into his brother-in-law's winery, and then all gone. So it was a bit of a wake-up call for me, and I had my own financial issues and my own health issues and things going through at the time. And I really had a little bit of time off work to sit back and think, like, why is this happening? What's the common factor? Why have 13 of my clients just blown $1 million each?
Yeah.
What's wrong with these people? Hang on. What's wrong with me? What didn't I teach them? What didn't I know? Because I wanted to find out everything there was to know about property, everything there was to know about shares, everything to know about the economic cycles and international markets. There was one thing I didn't know, and that was the mindset stuff. I'd never bothered with the mindset stuff because I thought it was a load of cobblers. But when I started to look at why these people blew the money and why I was spending the money faster than I was making, I had a very fabulous lifestyle.
Yeah.
But, you know, when you make a couple of $100,000 a year and you spend 10% more than what you're making, it's a bit of a problem.
Yeah.
So that's when I started to look at the mindset, and I discovered the parallels between my clients who'd made money very rapidly and lottery winners. And when you get someone who's, you know, buying their $20 lottery ticket every week and they're used to being poor, all of a sudden you put $1 million into their consciousness, into their bank account, and they just go, holy crap, what was that?
Yeah.
They're not used to it, they don't know how to hold it, they don't know how to manage it, and they find a way of blowing it very quickly.
Yeah.
So that's when I started to delve right into the mindset stuff. I'd already studied the absolute hell out of financial planning and the left brain, analytical, mathematical, tax law and that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And so then I applied the same earnest knowledge seeking into the other side. I'm like, okay, now I'm going to learn about meditation, now I'm going to learn about mindset, now I'm going to learn about affirmations, incantations. Well, it's 6 months that affirmations are taking too long. What's faster? And at the time I was smoking and I was drinking and I was pretty unhealthy. And I tried to quit smoking about 7 or 8 times. I'd used the patches and the gum and the, you name it, I tried everything to quit smoking. And then I met a hypnotherapist, and she said to me, like, what's one thing that you'd like to change? And I said, well, this is ridiculous, but I go to the gym, I'm a vegetarian, I'm very healthy, and I smoke. And she just looked at me and laughed, like, yeah, I know, like, if people don't believe that I smoke, I kind of do it in private because I don't want people who are at the gym or see me shopping to see me smoking. And one session, 1 hour with her, and I never smoked again, never got a craving, never got anything. And I went, wow, this is really amazing. And I said to her, has anybody ever used this for wealth creation? And she said, well, 90% of my business is quit smoking, quit drinking, or quit eating, you know, weight loss. 90% of her business. And I'm coming from the money side going, this works in 1 hour. You know, I've been doing these affirmations and I'm prosperous and I save my money and I accumulate wealth for like 2 years and it hadn't worked. And the money's just coming in really fast and then going out just as fast. So I wonder if I can use hypnotherapy for wealth creation. So in addition to my diploma in financial advising, I then went and got a diploma in hypnotherapy and balance out the other side of the mind. And I studied NLP and EFT and Reiki and all these other mystical woo-woo things that I used to think were a whole boatload of rubbish. Once I could put the two together, that was fantastic. There was no one else who was actually doing it. And so with the EFTs and the CBTs and the NLP and all the stuff that I studied, I basically took a bit of that, a bit of that, and a bit of that, and applied it to what I know. And I made my own technology, which I call Flick Your Rich Switch.
Okay.
And Flick Your Rich Switch Transformation, which the acronym is FYRST. So I've trademarked that, and it's your first. You have your first session. And now when I see a client and they come in and say, you know, can you show me how to make lots and lots of money? I say, yes, I can, but I know that in 12 months' time you're going to blow it. Just like the lottery winners, just like MC Hammer, who made $30 million and then was bankrupt 2 years later. So if it's okay, the first session, I'll give you a first session, Flick Your Rich Switch so you can actually hold the money. And after that, then I'll teach you how to make it. Because there's no point teaching you how to make it if you're not going to be able to hold on to it.
I'd love to know from you, in all of your experience with working with a lot of people, if there's any kind of information you think people need more than anything, you know, if they're struggling financially, or the thing that you think people most miss and most need to get about this whole thing to figure it out, you know, the money game, and where to go with that. Because it does seem like, you know, I'm sure you know, it's one of the big struggles people have. I
sort of look at, you know, everybody hears the statistics about the lottery winners, 95% of them who win will blow it or blow their brains out within 2 years. They don't tell you that statistic.
No, they're probably not allowed to.
But it's true, because they can't hold on to the money. And if you're in a situation at the moment where you can't manage the $10 or the $20 or the $50 or whatever you've got, then for God's sake, you're not going to be able to manage
Yeah.
$100,000 or the $2 million when it
Yeah.
comes in.
Yeah.
And I kind of compare it to, like, if you've got a glass and it's got a little crack in the side, I can pour some water in there and you can drink and it's okay. But if you've got a little crack in the glass and you say, fill up my glass, and I turn on the fire hydrant and go, it's going to shatter.
Yeah.
And you've really got to make yourself
Mhm.
strong and fit and able to actually handle that.
Yeah.
And then it's going to show up and it's not going to kill you when it does.
Yeah. And so just before we wrap up, Jeremy, on your website, is there anything in particular, if people want to find out more about you and your work or the workshops you do, is the best thing to do to go to your website? I know you do YouTube videos as well.
Yeah. Jump onto my website. I do YouTube videos. I've got about 60 now. Because sometimes when I go and meditate on the beach, I come up with an amazing thought. And I just share that. So if you want to see me unshaven and wrapped in a blanket and sitting out on the beach looking like a hobo, that's you got the YouTube videos. But there's often a lot of good information there that just comes to me from out of the ether. I don't even know where it comes from. But connect with me through there and learn a lot of stuff. You can actually grab a copy of my book from the website. You can get the ebook. That's my first book, Who's Taking Your Money and How to Get Some of It Back. So that's all about strategy.
Yeah.
So that's, you know, which stocks, which shares to buy, when to buy property, when to sell shares. Very much strategy.
Yeah.
I'm currently working on 4 new books, which are more about the mindset and a little bit of the strategy just to balance things out. But you can get a copy of that one by jumping onto the website. You can buy the hard copy, otherwise you can join the mailing list and you get the ebook for free. So it's very cool.
Lovely. Well, thank you so much for all of that information today, Jeremy, and the stories.
You might have to slow the camera down because sometimes I talk fast when I get excited.
Yeah, right. It was lovely speaking to you, and thanks for sharing that information.
Thank you.
Cheers.